Welcome to the Mental Wellness Index, or MWI. In this video segment, we'll explain how to explore the interactive maps in the MWI tool. There are two options, Explore States and Explore Zip Codes. Let's start with the Explore States tab, which is the default landing page for the site. This tab can also be found using the blue toolbar at the top of the page. Use Explore States to view results at a high level for one value at a time. This can be helpful if you'd like to look at a statewide view or to compare a zip code to others in the same state. The Explore States tab shows a heat map of the selected state, in this case Virginia. Note that the map's color scheme will vary based on whether you're viewing the MWI, shown here, or an individual measure that contributes to the MWI. The MWI is always the default option and incorporates data for all 28 measures in the MWI. When viewing the MWI on the map, green shading means that there are more resources or assets supporting mental wellness, indicated by a higher MWI value, while purple shading means that there are more obstacles to mental wellness, indicated by a lower MWI value. Hover over zip codes on the map to view the 5-digit zip code, the population, and the MWI value. MWI values and individual measure rankings show how a given zip code compares to all other zip codes in the nation on a range between 0 and 100. When I hover over zip code 22625, the MWI result of 66 is shown, which can be compared to the MWI result for other zip codes across the nation. Click on any zip code to find more information about how it compares to others. On the right is a distribution of the MWI for the selected state, with each dot representing a zip code. For example, in Virginia, a lot of zip codes fall in the middle of the range for the MWI, with fewer zip codes at the top and bottom of the range. Below the distribution, view the measure interpretation as well as some information about the measure that's selected. Let's go ahead and change some inputs. In the upper left box called Exploration Options, toggle between overall and Black populations, the first population of focus for the MWI. Learn more about population options in the MWI toolkit under MWI Populations of Focus, which in the future may include other additional populations of focus. We can start by selecting Black populations to view the MWI for this population in Virginia. The data in the map and the distribution will update accordingly to show results for Black populations only. Use the Exploration Options box to select a different state or to view results for all states, and to specify what to explore. Either choose to explore the MWI, which is the default option that we have seen so far, or one of the 28 individual measures in the MWI. The list of measures in the drop-down menu are grouped by the 3 domains in the MWI framework. These domains are social determinants of health, health status, and healthcare access. Descriptions of these domains are provided in the MWI toolkit. Recall that the color scheme for the map adjusts based on the measure that is selected. While the MWI is shown on a multicolor gradient, individual measures are shown in a single color gradient based on their domain. Individual measures in the social determinants of health domain are shown in a single color purple gradient, health status measures in a green gradient, and healthcare access measures in a blue gradient. Now let's view an individual measure that contributes to the MWI, this time for the overall population. Let's click on a measure in the social determinants of health domain called Nursery and Preschool Enrollment. When the Nursery and Preschool Enrollment measure is selected, the visualizations update to a single color purple gradient for this measure because it is a measure within the social determinants of health domain. A darker shade of purple indicates a higher ranking, meaning a higher percentage of children are enrolled in nursery or preschool, while a lighter shade of purple indicates a lower ranking and a lower percentage of children enrolled. On the right, the measure interpretation and information about this measure have updated as well. Enter a 5-digit zip code in the Exploration Options sidebar to highlight it in the distribution. Let's enter 22101. This zip code in Northern Virginia is now outlined in black and appears darker on the distribution chart. The measure interpretation has again updated for the selected zip code with a comparison within the state and nationally. Individual measures are displayed as national rankings. So the nursery and preschool enrollment ranking of 87 for this zip code means that this zip code ranks higher than 87% of the zip codes in the nation for this measure for the overall population. Not that 87% of children are enrolled in nursery or preschool. Zoom in on the map to view the area around the selected zip code in more detail. Now let's select a different measure, this time in the healthcare access domain. Click on the measure called Uninsured. Again, the map, distribution, and measure information will update. Because the uninsured measure is in the healthcare access domain, it's shown in a single color blue gradient in the tool. Unlike nursery and preschool enrollment, which is an asset that supports mental wellness, being uninsured, not having health insurance, is a barrier to mental wellness. While a darker blue color still indicates a higher ranking for the measure, a higher ranking is less desirable for this measure because it means that a higher percentage of the population does not have health insurance. In the MWI tool, a higher value always means that there is a higher percentage or incidence for the selected measure. But in some cases, this means that there are more assets supporting mental wellness, while in other cases, a higher value means that there are more barriers to mental wellness. Read the measure description when viewing an individual measure to better understand whether a higher or lower value is better for mental wellness. Let's also look at a measure in the health status domain. Let's select to view the smoking status measure for Black populations. The map, distribution, and measure information update again. This time, the measure is shown in a single color green gradient because smoking status is in the health status domain. Like being uninsured, smoking is also a barrier to mental wellness. Because Black populations are selected, all values are shown for Black populations only. A darker green color indicates that a larger percentage of Black adults smoke cigarettes, associated with a higher ranking for the measure, while a lighter green indicates a smaller percentage of Black adults who smoke cigarettes, associated with a lower ranking for the measure. Zip codes in the southwestern portion of the state of Virginia are shown in a darker shade of green, which means that a larger percentage of adults in this area smoke cigarettes compared to the northeastern portion of the state, where more zip codes are shown in a lighter shade of green. Return to the Exploration Options sidebar to switch between overall and Black populations, to select a different state and zip code, or to select a different measure. Now let's look at the Explore Zip Codes tab, which can be found using the blue toolbar at the top. Use Explore Zip Codes to view results for the MWI and its measures at a detailed zip code level. The Explore Zip Codes page is helpful if you're focused on a specific community rather than a statewide view and want to view all measure rankings for your zip code. This page is similar to the Explore States page. What we immediately see is a heat map displaying MWI results zoomed in on the tool's default zip code located in Virginia. This default zip code will be the first to show when loading the Explore Zip Codes view for the first time, even if you've selected a different state in the Explore States view. As in the Explore States view, use the Exploration Options box to toggle between overall and Black populations, and to select which measure to explore. Choose either the MWI or an individual measure that contributes to the MWI. Right now, we'll use the MWI, which is the default option. Enter a 5-digit zip code that you're interested in exploring, and the tool will zoom in on that zip code and outline it in Black. Let's enter 22101. This zip code is shown in dark green, indicating a very high MWI value of 99, meaning that this zip code has more resources or assets to support mental wellness than most other zip codes in the nation. Zooming out, again, view values for the surrounding area, including for zip codes in neighboring states. If we hover over each zip code, we can view the 5-digit zip code, the population, and the MWI value. At the top right, the tool shows the MWI or measure value, depending on which has been selected, and how it compares nationally, in the state, and in the selected community. Below this is information about the selected measure. At the bottom right, under ZICTA measure results, each of the measure rankings for the selected zip code are displayed, showing how the selected zip code ranks for each measure. Tune into the rest of this video series to learn about how to download data and view documentation for the MWI.